Everybody, Cashflow Chris here, taking on.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Cashflow Chris here at
What's up, everybody? Cashflow Chris with Investors Edge Real Estate Group here. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Leveling Up Book Club. It is July 2nd, and we've gone from June to July with our book of the month, Limitless by Jim Kwik. We are in section 3, I believe, right? Day 3. So we are gonna kick this off right away. Again, if you're new to the group or if you're watching this on YouTube, we meet almost every single Friday. We have a book of the month, and it's where we run through awesome books like Never Split the Difference, Traction, Atomic Habits, and such. And so let's kick this off. What do you guys think about this second part? So the second part, so we read chapters 7 through 10, which included, right? Nope, sorry, 8. No. Help me out, guys. What do we read? So yeah, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we started
7 through 10.
So limitless motivation. So they went a lot into the why on this one. Talked about purpose, energy, small steps, and then flow. We love getting into a state of flow. So let me get back to chapter 7. So now next week, we got a lot of reading to do. We're finishing the book next week. So get on it early. You got the whole weekend. So hop on the next section early. One second.
Purpose.
All righty, screen share, here we go. Okay, come on, computer. My computer knows it's a holiday weekend. So part 1, we went over the methods, and then part 2, or the next part, we went over mindset. And part 3 is motivation. So the method, the mindset, the motivation, the process, the possibilities, and the purpose. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about your purpose. Chapter 7. Let me fast forward this. All right, chapter 7, purpose. We are talking about the what, the motivation. Motivation, the purpose one has for taking action, the energy required for someone to behave in a particular way. Let's unlimit a few lies commonly held around motivation. Contrary to popular belief, like your mindset, motivation is not fixed. No one has a set level of motivation. And when people say they're unmotivated, that's not completely true. Motivation also doesn't mean that you must enjoy something that you need to do. It's not something you have, it's something you do. Say that one more time. Motivation is not something that you have, it's something that you do, and it's entirely sustainable. Motivation equals purpose times energy times S3. When you combine purpose, energy, and small, simple steps, you get sustainable motivation. Man, as entrepreneurs, if we haven't figured out our why by now, every book, everyone tells us, they talk about how success leaves clues, right? Well, if 17 to 100 different books tell you that you need to know your why, there's literally a book on it. Start with why. You need to find your why. We need to have our reasons. So Jim Kwik says, reasons reap results. How do certain defining phrases determine who you are? How do your values define you? What does your sense of purpose say about you? Often our greatest struggle leads to our greatest strengths. Start with why. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So it follows that if you don't know why you do what you do, how will anybody else? That's from Simon Sinek. Start with why. We hear the words purpose and goals used frequently in business, but do we really know what they mean and how they are the same or different? A goal is the point one wishes to achieve. A purpose is the reason one aims to achieve a goal. But how do you do this? I like that one. That's one that I actually underlined. A goal is the point one wishes to achieve, and the purpose is the reason. So, SMART goals. Everybody's heard of these, right? I guess Jim Kwik has his own little take on it, though. S is for specific. It should be well defined. M is for measurable. If you can't measure a goal, you can't manage it. A is for actionable. You wouldn't drive to a new town without asking for directions. Develop the action steps to achieve your goal. R is for realistic. You want to be able to make sure it's a realistic goal that you can actually hit. T is for time-based. And goal is a dream with a deadline that comes to mind. Setting a time to complete your goals makes you that much more likely to reach it. Let's see. I guess let's just go right through this, and then we'll talk after. So he loves his acronyms. We talked about that. HEART. The challenge for many people is that this process, while logical, is very heady. To get your goals out of your head and into your hands, make sure they fit with your emotions, with your heart. H is for healthy. How can you make sure your goals support your greater well-being? Your goals should contribute to your mental, physical, and emotional health. You shouldn't have a goal to work 80 hours a week, right? It may happen, but E is for enduring. Your goals should inspire and sustain you during the difficult times when you want to quit. A is for alluring. You shouldn't always have to push yourself to work on your goals. They should be so exciting, enticing, and engaging that you're pulled towards them. R is for relevant. Don't set a goal without knowing why you're setting it. Ideally, your goals should relate to a challenge you're having, your life's purpose, or your core values. And then finally, T is for truth. Don't set a goal just because your neighbor is doing it or your parents expect of it. Oh, this is a big one, guys. Make sure your goal is something you want, something that remains true to you. If your goal isn't true to you, you're far more likely to procrastinate and sabotage yourself. Let's see if I had any notes on that. So they talk about the, actually, I think we might go over this. So again, on being on purpose and passion, right? Knowing your purpose. Does anybody want to comment on what we've talked about yet? On goals, how you set goals, HEART, SMART. Am I going too quick?
I thought it was a really good section.
Okay. Does anybody have an example of a SMART goal that they may have?
Yeah, I guess I do. I mean, I'm in real estate. I'm a real estate agent right now. So kind of like in the lines of like Think and Grow Rich, I like wrote down like my goal, what I want to do, how I'm going to do it. Like I want to make X amount of dollars by the end of 2020. And what I'm going to do, it's written up here on my office wall by basically being a great real estate agent. So I want to do X, I'm going to do this to do it, and then I keep it in mind by reading it when I wake up in the morning before I go to bed every night. So I want to make this amount of dollars in this amount of time, and here's how I'm going to do it.
Perfect. Yeah, so we have one as well. So like for us, our goal is to purchase 80 units a year. So that's specific. So we want to buy 80 units per year in Cleveland, Ohio. And we have our specific criteria on what that entails. The M is for measurable. It is measurable because we know how many. We have an actual number. A is actionable because there's plenty of action we can take towards that. R is for realistic. We already own that, more than that. So obviously it's something that we can accomplish. It's not impossible. And T is time-based. We put the year on it. Anybody else got one that they want to let us know? What's your SMART goal? Anybody? All right. Everybody's shy on Friday. Let's keep going. Let's talk about this real quick then. Are your goals, do they follow your heart? Is your goal is it a healthy goal? Is it something that's going to help help you and stay healthy? E is for enduring. Is that something that you can do? Something that you really, really want to do? Does it excite you? Is it relevant? I love that T is for truth. A lot of us do what our parents expect us to do. And if your passion's not in it, it's not going to be, you're not going to do your best at it. On purpose and passion, knowing your purpose in life helps you live with integrity. People who know their purpose in life know who they are, what they are, and why they are. And when you know yourself, it becomes easier to live a life that is true to your core values. Quick start. What are your current passions? List 3. Call them out, guys. What are your current passions? Here.
For me, yeah, go ahead.
One for mine.
Pat first, and then JT.
Right now, real estate investing, and then getting healthy again.
Beautiful. JT, and then Kelly. You can type it, Kelly, if your mic's not working.
I like to travel and connect with people.
Nice. Travel. Kelly, and then David, if David's available.
I'd say real estate is definitely a passion of mine, and then also teaching others how it can be a passion for them, even if they're in real estate or not, or want to be in real estate, or how they can be in real estate without getting licensed, and using that as like a tool to kind of live their lifestyle that they want and investing.
That's great. Yeah, real estate's another one with me. Like, I love it. It excites me. It interests me. And so, there's so many different things to do with it. David, you here with us?
Yes, sir. For me, my purpose and my passion is to help small businesses succeed. And especially here in Phoenix, Arizona, that's where we're at. Been doing that for 10 years. Not planning on stopping anytime soon.
Awesome. Jordan says family, business, and good health. Jordan's family is about to grow next week. Oh man, I'm excited. Little Chris is coming.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Maybe that's not the name. Eve says family, career growth, and self-growth. I like that. Abraham, are you able to talk to us? And if not, Jonathan, what you got? What are you passionate about? I know you're passionate about riding your bike, man. I see you doing that all the time.
Yeah.
All right, no worries, guys. No worries. My passions, travel for sure. Like, I'm going crazy. My goal, living in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's like 110 every day. My goal is to not be here in the summertime. And I'll put it out here right now in public. I will not be here next summer. June or July, I'll be gone. I plan on being probably in Europe as long as COVID's gone away, or Africa. If I need to make some bigger money to go to Africa. That's a little bit more of a trip. But entire June, entire July, and maybe we'll hit both. I mean, 60 days, that's a long time. So, all right, who do you think you are? The highest drive we have is to act consistently with how we perceive ourselves. It's one of the most powerful forces in the universe. Use it to your benefit. Take 60 seconds and stream of consciousness, write down some I am statements. So let's not do that. Let's just shoot it out. I am a successful real estate agent. I am a fantastic dad. I am an adventure seeker. What about you guys?
I am a vulnerable, trusting, committed leader, fiercely surrendering to my life of outrageous results.
Ooh, I like. We got one in the chat. I am an artist. Maya, you absolutely are an artist. You're a fantastic artist. I am a visionary. What you guys got? What are you? I am what? Come on.
I got one. I am an effective virtual assistant.
Yes, you are. Eve, I am an achiever. Yes, Eve. I am unstoppable. I am wealthy. I am healthy. Abraham, I am the man of my dreams. Yes, sir. We talk about dreams. We're going to talk about dreams in just a little bit. All right, good stuff. The hierarchy of values. You can set up the most well thought out habits, but if your values are not aligned with the ultimate goal, you're not going to do it. When we're unaware of our values and the values of the people closest to us, it creates a space for conflict to arise. Discord usually results from values conflicting. We went over traction, guys. Core values. I think it's hard to run the traction system without having your core values down first. I mean, I think it's like the first thing you got to do. And then don't be afraid to change them, you know, or tweak the wording or what, you know, because it's better just to get something down there and then you have something to ponder on. Finding your reasons. When it comes to doing anything in life, reasons reap rewards. Reasons are tied to your purpose, identity, and values will sufficiently motivate you to act, even in the face of all the daily obstacles that life puts in your way. So finding that reason. What do you have to lose? What is motivation? Motivation is a set of emotions, pain and pleasure, that act as the fuel for our actions. Where does it come from? Motivation comes from purpose, fully feeling and associating with the consequences of our actions or inactions. And motivation comes from a Jim Rohn video too, I'll tell you that much. Let's do an exercise. Write down all the disadvantages if you have to face it. You have to face if you don't learn to use the material in this book. So let's talk about that. So what are some disadvantages if you choose not to learn the material in this book? What are the disadvantages?
Just go back to the way things were, or regress and get worse.
Yeah, if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Yeah.
I will keep my speed. I won't become a faster reader if I don't implement this. Anybody else? What are the disadvantages? If you just decide don't do this, what are some of the disadvantages of that? I think it sets a bad precedence. You know, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if I'm not going to take action on this book, I probably won't take action on any book.
That's true.
Set yourself up for failure.
There you go. Conversely, write down all the benefits and advantages you will receive from learning the skills and techniques in this book. I mean, what are the reasons that you guys wanted to read this book in the first place? I'm sure you looked into it and saw what it was about. What are the benefits? I mean, for me, I want to be able to speed read. I want to be able to consume, you know, a book a week. I want to read 50 books a year. I think that's a great goal to have. They talk about CEOs, you know, I'm a CEO, I need to read. David says, we're at a disadvantage from those who have to and use the info. There you go. That's true. You know, if we don't do it and other people do, now you're at an automatic disadvantage. It's like, you know, what are the advantages and disadvantages of taking a sales course? You know, other people are going to keep going like this. You're going to stay where you are. Consume information quicker is a benefit that David said.
True.
Anybody else? Why are you reading this book? What do you want to learn from it? He
I guess a lot of mindset too, just getting your mindset that you really like, what limits you have are the ones that you placed on yourself. And a lot of the times they're there for no reason other than you were a kid and you thought you couldn't do something. But if you really think about it, like you can do way more than what you thought a year ago or 5 years ago. So
amazing, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. There, we got a chat here. We got JT says mindset 100%. Okay. Oh, the other one, I want to learn how to remember names better. Like, seriously, that's such a stupid thing. And I want to learn how to learn things better and remember. So we're going to get into this later on. Limiting beliefs. You know how many times I tell myself, oh, I can't learn Spanish. I can't learn it. I took Spanish in high school. I took Spanish in college. I quit college. And then about 10 or probably 7 years ago, I went back to college just to take Spanish. And I still don't speak Spanish. It's crazy. And it's a limiting belief. I swear it's in my brain. Maya says she wants to learn speed reading. She started reading more ever since she started this book. She stopped limiting myself that I can do this. Eve says, I want to see more and discover capabilities. I have capabilities I have that I'm not aware of yet, and just reading books. Oh my gosh, Eve, that is perfect. We don't even know what we're capable of. This, and hopefully, you know, this limitless theme holds true, and we do things that we never even thought we could ever do. Like, how many people are already out, you know, where your parents are like, wow, you know, like I never thought you could do something like that, you know? So our parents even though they love us, they put limiting beliefs on us just because they don't even know it's possible. So, you know, amazing. Okay. Make sure all your reasons are compelling enough to be backed with real emotion. You must really get yourself to see and feel the benefits of learning this material. Do this now. Michelle Obama says, you see, when you give your body the best possible fuel, you'll have more energy. You're stronger. You think more quickly. 100%, Michelle. All right, let me go and check a little bit of my notes. Maya summed it up nicely, so I don't even think any of my stuff overlaps. I like this one though. And we talked, I think this was the last book we did. They say the two most powerful words in the English language are the shortest. I am. Whatever you put after those two words determine your destiny. And remember, guys, when you're trying to create habits, break habits, I am is huge. If you're trying to stop drinking, I don't drink, right? Define yourself. Because if you say, I'm a drinker, I'm a drinker, I'm a drinker, well, now you're a drinker. So say, I am not a drinker. I am not a drinker. Do you want to drink? Hey, you want to go to the bar with us? Yeah, I'll go, but I'm not going to drink because I don't drink. Same with smoking. Same with all the other negative things that we do to our body. So it starts in your brain. Let's see. Most of us feel tired and fatigued these days. I believe that's because we feel like we need to say yes to every opportunity, invite or request that comes our way. While it is great to be open-minded and consider options, when you say yes to something, you need to be careful that you're not inadvertently saying no to yourself and your own needs. Who's guilty? I know I am super guilty on this one. I used to say yes to absolutely everything. And I have a lot of regrets because of that. You know, when I was first getting started in the business, my kids were young and I said yes to everything. You know, do you want to go to this seminar? Do you want to go to this class? Do you want to, you know, tag along on this meeting? Yes, 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 yes. But while I was saying yes to that meeting, I was saying no to my family. I was saying, no, I don't want to spend time with my kids, you know? So I missed a lot of my kids' childhood, you know? I would leave before they were awake and I would come home after they were asleep at night. So saying yes to something, you know, what are you saying no to when you're saying yes to that? So really, really think about it. Actually, 2019 for me was the year of the no. I had to really, my automatic answer was supposed to be no to everything. And then it had to turn into a yes. So if you're trying to force motivation, but you haven't addressed the invisible limiting identities, you won't get very far. When you feel stuck, come back to the way your goal fits into your values, and then ask yourself what needs to be brought back into alignment. The reality is that you do motivation. Ultimately, motivation is a set of habits and routines. guided by your values and your identity that you carry out every day. You see how all our books kind of just merge? I mean, he even quotes James Clear from Atomic Habits in this book a few times. So we're reading good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Chapter 8, energy. Who relies on this? I'm holding up my cup of coffee. Who relies on this for energy? This is probably one of the worst things that you can do for energy because it's not real.
Coffee?
I switched to tea.
Yep. Or these. How do you make sure your brain is as healthy, as energized as it can be? What should I make sure to have in my diet if I want my brain to be at its strongest? How do I consistently get a good night's sleep? These are the 3 questions. You have a clear purpose for doing something and you've broken down the project or goal into small, simple steps. Does that guarantee sustainable, limitless motivation? Here are 10 recommendations for generating limitless brain energy. For each tip, please rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how much attention you are putting into that specific area. Here we go. Number 1, a good brain diet. Your brain is a high performance vehicle like an expensive car. Your brain functions best when it only gets premium fuel. Rate it 1 to 10. How much attention do you put into a good brain diet? Let's say 5.
Yeah, I would say 5 too for me.
We'll add them up at the end. All right, number 2, brain nutrients. Diet affects the brain function. Researchers have shown particular nutrients have a direct effect on your cognitive ability. Getting your nutrients from real, whole, organic foods is preferred. Talk to a health professional. Let's move to. So they have all the ingredients and all that stuff. Brain nutrients. So they talked about supplementing with phospholipid DHA, B vitamins, curcumin, which is in turmeric. Those are 3 of them. So rate it. How do you rate how much attention you put into that specific area? So brain nutrients, 0 for me. Number 3, exercise. The simple fact that exercise is enormously valuable if you want to unshackle your brain. Think about it. When you're active and moving, you feel sharper, right? That's because a direct correlation between exercise and brain function. Write it 1 to 10. Exercise. I'm going to say a 6 on that one. Number 4, killing ants. Ants are automatic negative thoughts. And if you're like most people, you place limitations on yourself in the form of these thoughts at least some of the time. Only when you move on from the kind of destructive self-talk, you can truly accomplish what you want to accomplish. Rate it. Number 4, how much do you focus on removing negative thoughts? I'm going to give myself a 7. I work hard on that one. I had a note on exercise. Regular aerobic exercise, the kind that gets your heart and your sweat glands pumping, appears to boost the size of the hippocampus, the brain area involved in verbal memory and learning. Ants are automatic negative thoughts, and if you're like most people, you place limitations on yourself. Maybe you tell yourself that you aren't smart enough to learn a skill that you really like to have. Hopefully not. All right, number 5. So here we go. Ants are everywhere, but eliminating them from your life is an essential part of unlimiting your brain. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. If you regularly tell yourself that you can't do something, or that you're too old to do something, or that you don't have the smarts to do something, you won't do that thing. Only when you move on from this kind of destructive self-talk can you truly accomplish what you want to accomplish. Number 5, a clean environment. A clean environment goes beyond air quality. Removing clutter and distractions from your surroundings will make you feel lighter and improve your ability to focus. So take time to Marie Kondo your mind and remove any necessary stuff. Marie Kondo was from the chapter. That's exactly what I wrote in my notes, so I got nothing on that. A clean environment, so I would say, I need help with that. I'm going to put a 4. I got clutter. I'm a clutter guy. Number 6, a positive peer group. Your brain potential is not just related in your biological networks or your neurological networks. It is also related to your social network. Who you spend time with is who you become. Motivational speaker Jim Rohn says that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. Rate it. I'm going to give myself a 9 because this is one of the big things in my life. I make sure I hang around amazing people. It always made me mad when I figured out my parents were right. They always like, you're going to end up just like your friends. You know, you're the sum of the 5 people. So if you hang around a bunch of losers. Damn it, Mom. All right, number 7, brain protection. This probably goes without saying, but protecting your brain is critical if you're going to make the most of your brain. You only have one brain. If you were only given one car to use for the rest of your life, how well would you treat that car? Would you take care of it as if your life depended on it? Interesting. I hit my head today, earlier this week, man. I'm like, I don't know what I forgot. Hit it hard. Rate it. Brain protection. Do you protect your brain? I don't know. I suppose I can give myself a 7 on that one. Number 8, new learning. One of the most important things you can do for the health of your brain is to keep learning. We are all capable of expanding the capabilities of our brains, even as we get older, which we discussed when we talked about neuroplasticity. This was a big one for me, guys. I think that was a limiting belief that I had, is that, you know, it's hard to learn stuff, and, you know, as you age, things don't go as well. But let's see my notes. As long as we keep learning, we continue to create new pathways in our brain. We keep our brains plastic and supple, capable of processing new information in relevant ways. This is especially true if we give ourselves genuine challenges in our learning. Attempting to master a new skill, to discover a new language, to embrace parts of your culture or the cultures of others that are new to you, all keep those neurons firing and creating new pathways. By increasing the ways you use your brain, you increase the capabilities of your brain. Quick start. Create an ongoing to learn list. What are some of the things on the list? Spanish is on my list. How about you guys? What are some things on your list? What's on your to learn list?
Spanish and guitar.
Guitar, nice. Anybody else? What's on your to-do list? Here we got a chat here.
Yoga and meditation.
Oh, yoga, meditation. Okay, that's one that you can take
better at
action
it.
on right away. Oh, my chat's not popping up. Somebody read the chat for me.
Maya says piano.
Oh, that's great. That's a great one, Maya. So my wife, hopefully she never watches these because I talk about her all the time in these, but she loves the piano and she loved playing it when she's a kid. She's 41 and she thinks she's too old. I'm like, you could go take piano lessons for 10 years and you'll still only be 50 years old. Like, you can become an amazing piano player, but it's a limiting belief. She literally thinks she's 41 is too old for somebody to learn. Let me rephrase that. She thinks 41 is too old for her to learn. If I said, oh, look at that 41-year-old, do you think that they could learn? She'd be like, yeah, of course. But it's a limiting belief. So yes, piano, why not? Guitar, why not? And you know what is resonating with me? Maybe I just have a mental block with Spanish. Maybe I should go learn French. And once I learn French, then I'll be able to learn Spanish. Or maybe I should learn, what do you guys speak in the Philippines, Jordan?
Filipino.
That's what it's called, Filipino. So maybe I should learn Filipino so I know when my VAs are talking shit about me.
You learned pero yesterday.
Pero. All right.
You just need
Next.
to listen to everything in Spanish, Chris. Everything in Spanish. That's what I do to Mila. I just put Peppa Pig in Spanish, everything in Spanish, and that's how you learn.
So that's one thing that I struggle with, Kelly. I don't know what my problem is because I understand Spanish. You know, I mean, I grew up around it. Well, first of all, I didn't. My grandmother, my nana, told my dad, don't you dare let those kids speak Spanish, because when he was growing up, people were very mean and very negative, you know, and she you know, she wanted him to speak perfect English and not speak Spanish at all. So while he knows it and he knows it perfect, he didn't speak it to me when I was a child. If he did, I would know it, you know. So definitely talk to your kids in Spanish if you know it. And
you know it too. And like if you like certain books that you really like, that you've already kind of like know, then buy them in Spanish and then read them in Spanish. Because then you'll be able to lingually, like, you know, spell it out, and then you'll know most of the concepts of it anyway, and then you'll just be, that's how I learned, because I didn't really speak perfect Spanish. And when I opened up a business, I opened up in like a swap meet, like, you know, Spanish predominantly only language, and I literally had to just speak it and learn to speak it better, and then read. So I would just practice with just reading books in Spanish.
That's a great idea. I like that. I could do, what is it? Padre Rico, Padre Pobre, whatever. Right?
Yes, your
David?
favorite.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, David knows about that one. You know, and I've listened to Rich Dad. I've listened to the whole book probably at least 10 times. So I probably already know what they're saying. So that's probably a good one to do, Kelly. Thanks for that. Rate new learning. I'll give myself a 7 on that one. Number 9, stress management. We all experience some level of stress in our everyday lives. Sometimes a great deal of stress. Whenever we experience stress, a hormone known as cortisol is released to alleviate the physical rigors of stress on our bodies. If this happens occasionally, it's not a problem. But if it happens with great regularity, the buildup of cortisol in our brains can lead to cease functioning properly. And if I remember, I think they said that it has to do with dementia and Alzheimer's. Whenever we experience stress, okay, that's the same thing. Man, me and Maya are on the same page. She's pulling all the good stuff. And then, okay, sorry. Rate yourself on stress management. I'm going to give myself an 8 on that one. It makes my wife so mad that I can just forget about it. She'll, quick start. What's the favorite thing that you do to cope with stress? When was the last time you did it? For me, I like to get a massage, and I like to smoke a little bit too. How about you guys?
Same thing.
What do you do to cope with stress? Jordan, I know you're stressed. You got a baby coming any minute.
Yeah. I've been looking forward to that massage too.
Yeah.
I go get massages every 2 weeks. That's my excuse with my chiro. It's every 2 weeks.
I like it. You don't need an excuse. You deserve it. Stress management. What about JT? You ride bikes to manage stress, I believe, right?
Yeah, he said an MMA too.
MMA. Oh man, I bet so. Long bike rides and MMA. Yep. The gym. Yeah, Raul says the gym, but they're closed. Yeah, that sucks. Get hypnotherapy. Interesting. Since Stacy a Zoom link. Hey, it's on Facebook. She can come if she wants to. Daily gym sessions and afternoon bike rides for Jonathan. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Exercise. That's when your brain, which is again, they talked about white space. So next time you're on a bike ride, next time you're you're at the gym, pull out the earphones. Get some white space. Let your brain just go. And then number 10. Number 10 is sleep. I hope you guys sleep good. I sleep really good, usually, typically. So number 10, sleep. If you want better focus, you need to get good sleep. If you want to be a clearer thinker, you need to get good sleep. If you want to make better decisions or have a better memory, you need to get good sleep. Let's see if I have any notes on that. Sleep is an essential to survival as essential to survival as food and water. Without sleep, you can't form or maintain pathways in your brain that let you learn and create new memories, and it's harder to concentrate and respond quickly. Now, this is another idea of don't believe everything you read. You know, who's here has read the Miracle Morning here? Who here, you know, tries to practice the Miracle Morning? You know, he doesn't really value sleep. He talks about how you don't need a lot of sleep. And I think a lot of people would disagree with that. Sleep is not a choice. Increasing evidence has tied the lack of sleep to a host of mental and physical disorders, including increased depression, irritability, impulsivity, cardiovascular disease, and more. Isn't that amazing? Sleep has a direct correlation to cardiovascular disease. Rate your sleep, guys. 1 to 10. How do you sleep? I'm giving myself an 8.
I'll give myself a 4.
4.
Yeah, I'm about a 5.
Oh my
Well, let me
gosh.
read
Chris,
this.
that was after the baby.
Let me read through this real quick, and then we'll talk about it. Give me your mind a break. One of the many reasons why people have trouble sleeping is not being able to turn your mind off. Fortunately, you have a tool available to you at all times that can help you deal with this. Meditation. Ariel Garten, creator of Muse, a headband that assists you in meditation, clarifies that it is not about emptying your mind, but rather training your mind to be aware in the present moment. It's not about emptying your mind. This is why a lot of people, this is a limiting belief. I can't meditate. My brain just doesn't stop. I can't do it. Well, they probably never tried. And then if you try, it's not about emptying your mind. It's training your mind to be aware in the present moment. When you regain your attention on your breathing, you're exerting an important skill. You're learning to observe your thinking. You're not caught up in your thoughts, but you're in a process of observing that you're thinking. You begin to recognize that you have control over your thoughts and that you can choose what you are thinking. All right, let's talk about sleep. We got a lot of comments here. What do we got? FIFA, Xbox. I get my 8 hours nightly, says Jonathan, at least 7. Kelly says, sleep now, Jordan. You won't sleep again once the baby's here. Pat gives himself a 7 on that. So what do you guys do to help you sleep? You know, you have insomnia. What are some things that you do?
What's worked for me, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So what's worked for me is this consistency, getting into bed at the same time every single night, turning off like electronic devices well before time, and it's really just using that time to using that bed space to only sleep. When I was like doing a lot of other things in the bed, like watching Netflix or playing on my phone or whatever, my mind would never shut off. But now I kind of train it to the point to where when I get into bed, I automatically get sleepy. So that's worked for me.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Who else? What do you do to help?
Something I did recently is I set an alarm to go to bed. And for me, it's easy, but my girlfriend, she's a night owl. So like for the first, 3 weeks, she would kind of be pissed off about it. But now she gets it. And like, I don't have to like bring it up to her. It's like my phone goes off, like I'm going to bed. It's like 11 o'clock. And it's not like, hey, I'm being a jerk or anything. It's like, hey, this is my schedule. My alarm went off. I'm going to bed the next 10 minutes. And she's like, actually, she loves it now because now she's starting to do it with me and wake up early. But like just it's automated. I don't have to worry about it.
Very good. Yeah. Set an alarm. I like that because sometimes you just got to remind yourself because like, hey, I got to get up at 6. I got to get up at 7. So if I don't go to bed by this certain time, it's just like there's not enough time in the night to get my sleep in. JT talks about how he tracks his REM sleep with his watch. Yeah, my cousin does that. That's really big, guys, because you may not know it, but you may not be getting that deep REM sleep that's necessary. So tracking that can be good. Let's see. He listens to soft sounds on YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've had a lot of those. just pop my earbuds in and I'll pass out. For me, listening to a book, I guess, so there's two ways to look about it. So one thing they say, don't have any electronics. Don't even have your phone in your room. Have it in another room. The glare from the light will distract you. That's one thing. One thing I like though is, like, if I just can't sleep, I listen to a book and then I fall asleep right away. CBD. My wife takes CBD gummies, 1 or 2 a night, helps you sleep the whole night through. Jordan says, I feel guilty doing this, but listen to the Bible helps me sleep. Well, I mean, you're going to hell, but that's all. No, whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Well, with the intention of, learning what you're hearing as well, it just kind of fades. And go to
You
sleep
learn
after.
by osmosis, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so consistency. The bed is for sleep only. Set an alarm. No electronics. Good stuff, guys. Those are good tips. And I know it can be difficult, Jordan. I mean, because Jordan works American hours. He lives in the Philippines. So my dad was third shift. He was a cop. He was third shift. So he had to sleep during the days. And I know a little bit of light will mess you up. So, if you invest in blackout screens and then, just make sure you're not disturbed. It can be tough, especially I know Jordan's family lives an opposite schedule from him.
Yeah.
So that boy wants to see dad, and that can be tough. So.
Exactly.
All right. Add them up. Add up your ratings and divide by 10.
I only had 4.
5, 0, 6.
I mean, 9.
Should I go through them again? So number 1 was a good brain diet. The second one was brain nutrients. The third one was exercise. The fourth one was killing ants, negative thoughts. The fifth one was a clean environment. The sixth one was a positive peer group. Number 7, brain protection. Number 8, new learning. Actually, I'm going to give myself an 8. I learn a lot. Number 9 is stress management. And number 10 is sleep. 8, 11, 22, 31, 38, 46, 54, 62. So I got a 6.2 average. What'd you guys get?
I got 5.5.
5.1.
What's that, JT?
5.1.
Okay. Cool. So we're all aware. Let's try to get those averages up to, a 7 or an 8. Be conscious of it, and it'll help you grow. Let's see here. Let's head back. Okay, so let me run through my notes right now. All right, a commonly stated amount is, let's see, there are varying ideas about how much exercise is necessary to affect sleep. But yeah, there's one thing none of us brought up was exercise before we sleep. A commonly stated amount is 2.5 hours a week of aerobic exercise coupled with some resistance work. Brisk walking, light biking, elliptical machine, and anything that increases your heart rate so that you can still talk while exercising, but have to catch your breath every few sentences or so is considered moderate exercise. Next, meditation. The benefits of meditation are numerous, including everything from boosting your immune function to decreasing anxiety to actually increasing your gray matter. One of those many benefits is helping with insomnia. Jordan, start meditating.
Yeah, BP keeps on telling me that.
And I could see how somebody like you would struggle with meditation because your brain is just boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? You know, you're just a really high functioning guy. So do it. And then when you're sitting there saying, oh, this isn't working, I'm thinking about everything else, that's okay. Be aware of it and then push it right back to it. What was it? Headspace. Headspace is a great app for that. And
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
one analogy that they had on that is, think of it as like, so think of a long hallway, right? And think of, like, you have like a ball that's floating, right? So you're in zero gravity and you're flowing through, right? So it's going to wander, right? And it's going to hit the wall, right? You're going to start thinking over here. So don't worry about it. Just focus on tapping it to the left, tapping it to the right, you know, real gently tapping it and keeping it in the middle. And this way you're just focusing, you're just thinking on the same thing over and over again. Yeah, Headspace is a great app. Highly recommended.
I'm gonna go ahead and check that out.
Oh man, we gotta hurry up. Number 9, small, simple steps. What is the smallest simple step I can take now? What daily routine will help me become limitless? How do we start good habits or in bad ones? So you have a reason or a purpose to do something. You have the necessary energy to do it. So what's missing? A small, simple step. The tiniest action you can take to get you closer to your goal. One that requires minimal effort or energy. Over time, these become habits. The reason that this book is filled with the small, simple steps is called quick starts, right? We've been doing this the whole time.
Atomic Habits.
Zeigarnik effect. The uncompleted task created a level of tension that keeps a task at the front of your mind until it's completed. Be kind to yourself. We already know that the unfinished tasks create tension in your brain. If you layer guilt and shame on top of this, you're making it even harder to get the task done and making yourself miserable. The best way to deal with this is to find a way to break the task into bite-sized pieces. Take baby steps. Who's seen What About Bob? Great movie, great theory, right? Baby steps. One of the only things that is likely to change your behavior is to make incremental progress. By breaking a task that you're procrastinating about into small pieces, the path to getting done becomes clear. The best way to deal with the tension between that, what you want and what you've done so far, is to remember the effect that teaches us. You're not going to be able to erase your mind about this task until you complete it. So just go forward towards completion. Creating habits to automate essential parts of our lives is a fundamental streamlining technique that we do largely unconsciously, often to our benefit. Now, because you're in the process of becoming limitless, you know that perpetuating negative behaviors is a drain on your superpowers. So how do you break bad habits? And just as importantly, how do you create new habits that will help you? Debbie Ford says, as you step into your limitless self, you might be confronted with old habits and patterns that are not necessarily based in truth. These old ways of being show up because you have repeated them thousands of times. Do we have a James Clear? There we go. Your habits you repeat or don't repeat every day largely determine your health, wealth, and happiness. Knowing how to change your habits means knowing how to confidently own and manage your days, focus on the behaviors that have the highest impact, and reverse engineer the life that you want. All right. FOG behavioral model. For a target behavior to happen, a person must have sufficient motivation, sufficient ability, and effective prompt. All three factors must be present at the same instant for the behavior to occur. You'll need 3 things to develop a habit. Number 1, a desire to do it. Number 2, you need the skills to do it. And number 3, you need something to get the habit loop started. You need your cue. So motivation, ability, and then your prompt. What is your prompt? All right, notes. Let's see. We talked about that. We talked about baby steps. It is also widely assumed that breaking a bad habit isn't about ending the habit, but rather than replacing it with a different, more constructive habit. It's much easier to start doing something new than to stop doing something habitual without replacement behavior. Okay, here we go. Can you identify the habits you want to break? What is one habit that's holding you back from doing other important things in your day? This is the group participation part. What is one habit? For me, it's sitting on the couch after work. That's a bad habit. Once I get there, I'm usually there for the rest of the day. So, you know, if I'm up and about doing stuff, cooking dinner, going for a walk, hanging out with my kids, it gets me out of that state. When I sit down, that's when I start snacking and eating and shit like that. What do you guys got? What's a habit you want to break?
Me, I gotta stop checking my phone when I'm playing with my kid.
Oh, yes.
Because I always get like sucked up with emails, messages, and all that stuff.
That's a huge
Same,
one.
Jordan.
You know what? Sometimes I catch myself, my kid's talking to me, and I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm paying attention to them. Actually, maybe I'm not. I know that I hear them, but they don't know that.
Yeah,
They're
true.
talking to me, and I'm looking at my phone, and they're like, my dad's not paying attention to me, right? And I'm just like, no, put that shit down, look your kid in the eye, and have a conversation with them.
The worst
You
part
know what
about
it
that
is?
is they're gonna mirror that from
They
you.
are going to mirror that. They do. I have a 10 to 12-year-old. They do. My kid is a like, it's crazy. Raul, do you have something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, for me, you know, I have the same issue, Jordan, and it's the notifications, right? All the pings are coming in from whatever, email, text, social media,
True.
whatever, right?
Yes.
It's horrible.
Messes up your flow, which we're going to be talking about next as well. What are some other bad habits? Type them in. If you JT says not following his calendar is a bad habit.
True.
Right? That'll just, especially when you set it up for the perfect day and then you mess up on the first one, like either you got to fit it in somewhere else or you got to skip it, and things go into chaos. Which is, JT, is the big reason why you got to say no, right? So
Yeah, that's the hardest thing is saying no.
yes. And it's calendaring kid time, right? You know, so put it on your calendar, you know, 4:30, leave, drive home, right? That's on my calendar. So when somebody says, you know, can you do this at 4:30? No, man, I have an appointment. That appointment's with your family, or it's working out. That appointment's with your gym. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You don't have to tell them what your appointment is. Look at your calendar. If you're busy, you're busy, and stick to it. It talked about a win. W is for want. Make sure you really want it. I is for innate. Does the new habit you're trying to adopt align well with your innate abilities? And N is for now. Create a prompt for yourself that encourages you to perform the new habit now. You may think that because your past failed attempts to change your habits and routines, you're doomed to fail forever. Like me, woe is me with my Spanish, right? By changing just one or two small habits in your day, incredible progress can follow. Something as simple as brushing your teeth with the opposite hand can start a new way of life. Who brushed their teeth with their left hand today? I know I did.
I try that sometimes when I'm on my phone.
Weird. Spend some time reflecting on your dreams. Oh, so this is it, what they talked about. I guess. So they talked about how to remember your dreams. So he talked about, so number one, before getting out of bed, he spends some time reflecting on his dreams. Let's see. So the first thing I do every morning before even lifting my head on my pillow is I think back on my dreams to see if there's an idea or a perception or a new way of looking at something that can be useful to what I'm trying to accomplish. Second thing he does, he makes his bed first thing in the morning because it sets him up to be excellent at everything that he does. Next, he has a tall glass of water because hydration is so important. Next, he takes his probiotics to make sure his second brain, the gut, is getting what it needs. Next, he brushes his teeth with the opposite hand to train his brain to do difficult things. Next, a 3-minute workout. It doesn't have to be a long one. A 3-minute workout to get the heart rate up first thing in the morning. And then lastly, takes a cold shower. Nope, that's not it. When he's out of the shower, he goes through a series of breathing exercises to fully oxygenate my body, and then a 20-minute meditation. Next, he has a brain tea that includes, ginkgo or cola, ginkgo, lion's mane, and MCT oil. And then he sits down and he starts journaling, starts writing it all down. After that, a half hour of reading. And so lastly, he has a brain smoothie that has a lot of the antioxidants, blueberries and stuff like that from earlier in the chapter. Now, that's why you got to set your alarm to go to bed early, because if you're doing something like this, that's a long routine. That's probably an hour and a half to a 2-hour routine. So you got to get there early. So create a new morning routine is our quick start. So 3 things I'm going to start working on. Glass of water, which I'm already pretty good at. I usually chug a big glass of water when I wake up. Breathing. I like the idea of that, just getting a lot of oxygen within your body. And then meditation and affirmations. That's a habit that I've been working on for quite some time. All right, let's move on. Flow. Oh, Jonathan says he's glad he made it clear that he didn't do all those things daily. Yeah, that can be a little bit much, right? So why is flow so important in becoming limitless? How do I achieve a flow state? And what are the key enemies of flow? There have been times when you've been so completely caught up in what you were doing that everything else disappeared and it just felt like the most natural thing you've ever done. Time probably melted away for you during these times. The experience is flow. Flow is a state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience itself is so enjoyable that people will do it even at a great cost for the sheer sake of doing it. Flow, the psychology of optimal experience. Let's see. 8 characteristics describes flow. Absolute concentration. Number 2, total focus on goals. 3, the sense that time is either speeding up or slowing down. Number 4, a feeling of reward from the experience. Number 5, a sense of effortlessness. Number 6, the experience is challenging, but not overly so. Number 7, your actions almost seem to be happening on their own. And number 8, you feel comfortable with what you're doing. Let's talk about this, guys. What is something that you do where you just get into a flow? And let me give a quick example first. So I want some examples, but let me tell mine first. When I see this, I think about my kids and Fortnite, right? This is a perfect example of flow. They have absolute concentration. They got their earphones on, they're playing, right? Total focus on their goal. What's the goal is to win the game. Sense of time, they'll be in there for hours with that, they won't even know they played for so long because they're so into the game. A feeling of reward, right? You're trying to win the match, right? You're getting your kills in between, right? So those are some rewards. Total effortlessness. There you go. Of course it's effortless for them to be playing a video game. The experience is challenging, but not overly so. So they win and they lose. So it is challenging, but you can be good at it. Your actions almost seem to be happening on their own. Absolutely. And then they feel comfort at what they're doing. So guys, think about that. If you have a product, if you have a service that if you want people to consume, I mean, the video game people have it down, man. They set it up so the person can get into a state of flow easily. So now, what's something that you get into a state of flow on?
Yeah, with me, it's surprisingly building our presentations because I have a marketing background. Building out keynote slides, Google Slides, PowerPoints, and stuff like that was just pretty much part of my job because we're presenting stuff and ideas all week. So it's become pretty much like a effortless situation for me to where I can just have an idea, get it out on slides, make it beautiful, make it animated, make it fun and entertaining. And it's, next thing I know, I'm 30 pages in and I've been working on it all day. I didn't even realize it.
There you go. Time just flies, right? I get into a workflow. I really do a lot of times. Yesterday, remember, Jordan? It was 4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours went by. I had no idea. I thought it had been like 30 minutes. I looked up and it was 2 o'clock. I'm like, what? Like, is that Philippine time or what's going on? I was so confused. 4 hours. And I don't know. What else you got? So artists, right? Painters, they'll just go. They're flowing. They'll go. They won't even know. They'll go late into the night. Artists, music artists, right? A lot of people, they're creating beats, they're creating lyrics, and they're just going. What else? Who else is in flow?
Sports, playing basketball.
100%, right? Hours and hours. What do you guys flow in? David, Kelly, you guys got any ideas or examples of your flow? If not, no big deal.
It's all systematic and on my calendar. So it's just like schedule, back to back, including this, class and just going back to back. That's my flow.
Awesome. You probably get in a flow when you are in sales mode, right? When you're walking through a house, you have your the things that you talk about, you have your way of showing, and it probably just flows right through it. All right. 4 stages of flow. Number 1 is the struggle. Number 2, stage 2, relaxation. Stage 3, flow. Stage 4, consolidation. Finding flow. If you're going to become limitless, you're going to want to get yourself into a flow state as soon as possible. Here are 5 ways to do it. Number 1, eliminate distractions. Eliminating distractions is absolutely essential. If you can take up to 20 minutes to reconnect with what you're doing after you've been distracted from doing it, it can take you up to 20 minutes. Who's guilty of that, man? Me all the time. Number 2, give yourself enough time. Make sure you have a block of time set aside to get into flow. It's commonly believed that when conditions are right, it takes about 15 minutes to achieve a flow state, and that you don't really hit your peak for closer to 45 minutes. Clearing out only a half hour isn't going to allow you enough time. Plan at least 90 minutes. Number 3, do something you love. When we think of flow, we tend to think of people achieving at extremely high levels. What's common among all these people is that they're doing something that matters to them a great deal. They wouldn't be satisfied with only being moderately competent, as they aren't performing a task which they have a casual relationship. They're doing things they love. Number 4, have clear goals. One of the most efficient flow preventers is a lack of clarity. So once you've carved out the time, give yourself a clear purpose on how you're going to use that time. If you set yourself on a mission at the onset, it is something that you're excited about achieving. You're likely to find yourself deeply immersed in that mission. Number 5, challenge yourself a little. It needs to be challenging, but not impossible. Conquering the new enemies of flow. Here, let me check my notes real quick. Finding flow is the source code of motivation. When you find flow, you get maybe the most potent dose of reward chemistry your brain can give you, which is the reason he believes flow is the most addictive state on earth. Once we start to feel flow as an experience, we are motivated to do what it takes to get more. But it's a circular relationship. If you have motivation to accomplish a task, but you have no flow, you will eventually burn out. Motivation and flow need to work together, and they must be coupled with a solid recovery protocol like good sleep and nutrition. Oops. So, conquering the enemies of flow. Number 1, multitasking. Don't be a multitasker. Number 2, stress. It isn't that the stressors aren't real, but they often don't need your immediate attention, and they aren't going to be worse 2 hours from now. Number 3, fear of failure. If you're going to a task with a belief that you absolutely must perform this task perfectly and that failure will be devastating, you're going to be focused on not failing, that you'll never get into the state where you can truly excel. Number 4, lack of conviction. Nearly as devilish as a supervillain as perfectionism is a lack of belief of what you're doing. The brain perceives uncertainty as a threat, which sparks a release of cortisol, a stress hormone that disrupts memory depresses the immune system, increases the risk of high blood pressure and depression. Boom. Once again, if you need, invite your friends to the book club, absolutely. And then if you need leveling up help, we have our virtual solutions. If you need a VA for just about anything, we can help with that. So let's discuss this just for a minute, since we are 11:21. Anything, any notes on flow? Any ideas on how they do their flow?
I like how they want to extend their time blocks, because sometimes you do things too close back to back that there's no room for anything else.
True.
True that. Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I appreciate you coming out today. So for next week, we got a lot to read next week. So get on it this weekend, guys. We are reading part 4, which is the methods. So this is where everything comes together. This is where we are going to be learning most of it. So part 4, we're going to be working on focus, study, memory, speed reading, and thinking. So 4 or 5 big chapters. It's from 179 all the way through 276. So lots of reading. We're going to finish it up next week. And I appreciate you guys being here. I'm taking suggestions for next month. I believe we have a guest who is going to be working it. So I would love your guys' input. We don't have to do a new book. We can do an older book, which where are they at? So traction. Well, traction's a tough one. So we could work on never split the difference. We could do profit first. Building a story brand. If you guys want to work on marketing, building a story brand was one of the better books that we did. So I have a couple new books that I got. Simple Numbers, Straight Talk by Crabtree. That's supposed to be a good one. I'll read that and see if it's implementable. Next is 5-Day Weekend. And then somebody suggested a book that I haven't read in forever is The 4-Hour Workweek. I was a much different person when I read that the first time. So I think that might be a good one. So as usual, give us your input on what you guys want to work. It has to be implementable. That's the main thing. So here we go, guys. I appreciate you, and I will see you all next week.
Thank you.
All right, Quick Learning Online Part 1, speed reading. Here we go. Can everybody see this?
Yeah.
Come on, there we go.
Welcome to Quick Reading, and get ready to master information overload, catch up, keep up, get ahead, and really dominate in today's information age. I want you to be unstoppable. My name is Jim Kwik. I am going to be your Quick Reading coach, and I'm so proud and honored that you decided to join this program with me. Now, this program is going to be better than you think, because it is the most complete system, step-by-step process to train your brain to be able to learn information faster, to be able to master your mind, to be able to catch up with information overload, to be able to really harness your focus so you can get more done when it comes to processing information. And it doesn't matter whether it's newspapers or magazines, if it's online reading, websites, if it's emails, if it's books on your shelf you haven't read yet, get ready to be able to be on the adventure of your lifetime. This program is all about picking up where your schooling left off. And really what the system is all about is not just learning, but it's about unlearning bad habits that we picked up when we were children in our traditional education system. So we're gonna upgrade your brain to upgrade your life. And that's really the essence of this program. So I'm going to be your coach over the next few weeks, and we're going to take you from where you are right now to reach your highest level goals and really deciding what is in this for you, like why you joined this program. And I know we talked about this in our original welcome video, but really remind yourself why you're here, because motivation, your motive for action, is everything. So are you ready to get started? Really the key to this program, to mastering your mind and mastering information overload, there's two different parts. There's the technical aspect of it, meaning step-by-step strategies that I'm going to teach you on how to read technical information, on how to really master your online reading, and how to be able to read faster and retain, take notes, all that information. But the other part, besides the technical expertise and the mechanical skill, is really going to be the mindset. It's really the psychology about what's going on inside your brain that really activates your genius, because that's really what this is. And I don't mean genius like IQ. I mean what activates that highest level of intelligence inside your mind, so that way you can have greater intellect, you can have greater income, you can have greater impact with the world, because that's really what it's all about. So what we're going to get started right now is there are two parts to this program. It's not just reading speed. Yes, you're going to improve your reading speed. Some of you will double, triple, and even more your velocity of taking information. And it's not just the speed of your reading, it's going to be your speed of your thoughts, because your thinking is really the value we have in today's society, right? Where knowledge is not only power, knowledge is profit, but you can only make really good decisions based on the knowledge you accumulate, right? And so what are you reading every single day? And we're going to talk about really setting up your habits, so that way you create your habits and then your habits create you. And for those of you who are not reading every single day, I'm going to show you simple systems on how to be able to do that so it's natural and it's organic. But the other part of it is not just speed, it's going to be comprehension. Because as you know, no matter what your career or your background, it doesn't make sense to read something if you don't understand what you read. So a big portion of this program is really going to be about smart reading. How can you focus? How can you understand? How can you comprehend? Also, how can you go out and really apply what you're learning with the rest of the world? So before we get started, what we want to do right now is I want you to get a book. Get a book, and then there are just certain qualities that we're going to ask you for, because really it comes down to the practice that you're going to have. Every single day we're going to be reading for about 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day of reading, 10 to 15 minutes is going to transform your life. It doesn't seem like a lot, but over the course of a few weeks, it's really going to grow. And remember, leaders are readers. Leaders are readers. So I want you to right now find a book. And now this book, I want you to practice, because I'm going to teach you mechanical skills with something a little bit lighter. So don't pick something like a textbook or something that's deep in data. I want you to pick a fun book. A book maybe that's story driven, a book that's easy to read, hardcover preferred because the words tend to be a little bit larger, and something that's driven by a plot, something that has characters, something that has conflict, something that has a story to be able to tell. And we're going to practice with this first, and then from here, we're going to move to more technical reading. So grab that book now. If you need to pause this, do it now and grab your book.
Grab your book. Here we go. This is my book. Rich Kid, Smart Kid.
Never heard of that.
Welcome back. Now that you have your reading material here, the fun begins, because I'm going to show you in this program how to dramatically improve your reading speed, your velocity of thought, if you will. But how do you know if it works if you don't know where you're starting from? Because here's the maximum to remember. In order to be able to manage something, you have to be able to measure it. In order to manage something, you have to be able to measure it. And that's the great thing when it comes to reading. You can measure your reading speed. And you measure reading speed just like your typing speed, in words per minute. So what we want to do right now is we want to make this interactive. because just sitting there and consuming information is not going to help you to change your life. You need to be able to apply it. So what I'd like you to be able to do now is grab your book, and I want you to go to the very first point of the book that's brand new. So if it's a brand new book, go to the very first part of the book. Now, if you've been reading this book, pick up where you left off. And what I want you to do is, with a pen, put a little mark in the margin. Now we're talking about a physical book here, and I'm going to time you right now for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and you're going to read. And what I want you to do is read for full comprehension. Read how you would normally read to fully understand what you're reading. And at the end of 2 minutes, I'm going to say stop. And when I say stop, what I want you to do is put a mark in the margin where you left off. And I'm going to ask you to count the number of lines that you just read. Okay, and that's going to be your base rate. So let's do that now. I want you to pick up where you left off, brand new on this book, if it's a brand new book, and begin now. Okay, and stop. Now what I'd like you to do is count the number of lines that you just read. Now it counts as a line if it goes more than halfway across the page. So you can estimate, if you will. Don't count if there's only 2 words on the line, that does not count as a line. But maybe you could take 2 half a lines, put them together, and it counts as 1 line. So you can guesstimate a little bit. What I want you to do now is count the number of lines you read in 2 minutes. Do it now. Okay, now that you know the number of lines you read in 2 minutes, what I want to find out is how many lines did you read per minute? So just divide that number by 2. You could round up. So for example, if you read 50 lines in 2 minutes, you divide it by 2, and that's 25 lines per minute. If you read maybe 41 lines in the 2 minutes, divided by 2, you would get 20.5, or you could round up, that's 21 lines per minute. So what I want you to do is divide by 2 and put that number down below now.
I got 22.5 lines per minute. What'd you guys get?
I got 17.
I got 22.
22. All right, part 3.
I got 20.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so now that we know your lines per minute, what we want to discover is how many words on your average line, because everybody's reading different material. And that's the beauty of this program, is you're not reading stale, standardized tests. We let you choose the things that you're most interested in and most passionate about. So the challenge though is everybody has a different number of lines, difficulty, and so on. So everyone's number is going to be different when we compute it. So what I want you to do right now is count the number of words in 3 lines, meaning go through 3 lines of text in your book and count the number of words in those 3 lines. And I'd like you to divide that number by 3. And I know you're saying, Jim, I haven't done this kind of arithmetic in so long. I've been out of school. If you need to, use a calculator. But doing some mental math could also help boost your brain power. It's great brain training in addition to reading is arithmetic. And so what I'd like you to do again, just to be very clear, is count the number of words in 3 lines. And then I want you to divide by 3, and that's going to give you the average number of words per line. And what a lot of you will find is there are about 10 words per line. But depending on the book that you're reading and how it's laid out, some of you will have 8 words per line on average. Some of you have 6. Some of you will have 12. The majority of the people will actually have about 10 words per line. So now you have 2 numbers. The number of lines you read in 1 minute and also the average number of words per line. So in order to get your words per minute, all you're doing is multiplying those 2 numbers, meaning the number of lines you read in 1 minute times the average number of words per line. So if that average number of words per line again is 10, then just multiply your number by 10, and then you're going to get your words per minute. So now that you have your words per minute, what I'd like you to do is put it down below in the comment section. Do it now. Now realize whatever number that happens to be, it's going to be different for every single person because it has to do with how tired you are. It has to do with the difficulty of information that you're reading. Some people could be reading something very easy. Other people, it can be more difficult. So these numbers vary. You'll see that throughout the entire course because the goal is for you to be able to read at the level that you feel most comfortable at. So what is the secret to being a faster reader? Here's the secret. 1 word: consistency. Consistency. Nothing great in your life, whether it's your health or your relationship or it's your business, can you get high levels of success without being consistent. It's not just going to the gym, working out once. It's not just saying I love you or doing something nice for your partner once. It's not just taking care of your client or building your business once. You have to be consistent. Same thing with reading. So really it comes down to making it a habit. And when you make reading a habit, you join an elite group of high performers. I mean, we're talking about individuals who succeed at the highest levels because leaders are readers, but they schedule it. That's really the key. You must schedule your reading. We're about to take an adventure together, a journey together, where we're going to double, triple, or even quadruple your reading speed. But it's not going to happen overnight. It comes from consistent effort and practice. So when it comes to accelerating your reading and improving your brain speed, the key is making a habit. Because first you create your habits, and then your habits create you. First create your habits, and then your habits create you. So the elite mental performers, they schedule their reading. So what I want you to do as your homework is I want you to schedule your reading for the week. Just 10 minutes a day. Schedule in your calendar 10 minutes a day. Now here's the thing. You want to schedule at a time when you're awake. You don't want to leave it to the time, we all are different. We all have different chronotypes and time types, if you will. So maybe you're a morning person, you're an early bird, if you will, or some people are night owls. Schedule your reading around times when you're most alert, when you're most focused, and also around times where you have the least amount of distractions. I would prefer people do this first thing in the morning because for most people, it's a great jumpstart to their day. Just like exercising first thing, this is kind of a mental boost, exercising your mind so you can go out there and tackle the things that you need to be able to tackle because your brain is really warmed up, if you will. But if you're not really quite sure, schedule around a time when you know you're going to be awake and you have the least amount of distractions. So do that now. Go to your calendar and schedule 10-minute slot every single day over the next 7 days. Okay, quick reader, now is the time where you share with our community because this is the accountability part where we hold you to a high level standard. So it's not just me who's doing it, it's us. It's not me, it's we. So what I want you to do is down below, share with us your optimal time to be able to read. What time of the day did you schedule? Is it 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning? Is it 10 o'clock at night? Put that information down below, because part of it is you being active and you're making a public commitment saying, this is what I'm going to do this week. So quick readers, put down below the time of day you're going to plan to read every single day. Do that now. I'm so excited to be part of this program with you. I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson.
All right. So this is difficult for me because my every day is different. So what do you guys have? Were you able to pick a day or a time each day?
I'm going to try to compare mornings and evenings. It's only 10 minutes, and try to see which is more effective.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. So I want everybody to read 10 minutes today, and we will. Oh, first of all, what were your words per minute? I was 315.
264.
I have 204.
Okay. Each time you said your lines, and when you said your number, you said it like you were embarrassed about it. Don't worry about it. It's how you read. It doesn't matter. So don't put yourself down on it. All right.
I guess so.
Good stuff, guys. I don't know if this is something we can do every day together, or maybe I should find something in the morning. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Regardless, I'll try to record it every single day, and then I'll send you guys a non-public link so we don't get in trouble for sharing this.
Because this is a paid course, right?
This is a paid course, yeah. All right, cool. I'll send you, David, Kelly, we'll send you guys the links if and when we're going to do it again. So David was 210. Good job. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Probably, when am I going to do this again? Maybe this weekend. Maybe I'll do it and send you guys an invite, or maybe we'll wait till Monday. We'll see.
All right.